A Star is Born is the directorial debut from Bradley Cooper. It also stars Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga and also Sam Elliott. This is going to be a pretty spoiler-heavy review, so if you haven't seen this film, I would recommend you don't listen to what I'm saying. But if you have seen the film, then please hear me out on this one, because I've seen it get a lot of critical acclaim, many award nominations, and some award wins at the Golden Globes, and likely probably going to be a few wins at the Oscars as well. But I didn't really see the hype behind it. Pretty easy to say that, when a film gets so much hype, oh, I didn't see the hype behind it. Well, yeah, so what? No one cares what you think. But still, I just really feel as though this film has so many, generic cliche elements that really baffles me to see it get so much buzz behind it. So with it being a remake, there'll be plenty of people that will have seen the original films. I personally haven't, but just based on this film alone, I found it to be kind of, I don't know, I guess the story seemed really, overblown to the point where, Lady Gaga, starts as a nobody, it just, singing in wherever, random bars and stuff. And then she sort of makes it to the top because Bradley Cooper just walks into a bar, sees her perform, and is like, wow, she's amazing, so let's just give her this amazing career ahead of her, which is cool. It happens to a lot of musicians out there, but it really does rush through a lot of things to kind of get to see her to that stardom level. It's like she really doesn't have to do a lot to get to the point where she gets. And I mean, musicians don't usually have that, privilege. So the fact that the film just kind of glossed over so much just to kind of see her get on stage, they sing Shallow together, everyone's in love, and then she's, getting this amazing attention. She ends up getting all these Grammy nominations. It kind of just feels like everything is overblown and you don't really see much development from the characters. That's to me anyway, that was how I felt during the film. I didn't feel like her character got much development whatsoever. I didn't really feel like their relationship was all that believable. It was cute at times, I guess, but it was kind of cringy as well. I mean, when they initially meet, he kind of sucks her finger and stuff and rubs her nose. It all feels so make-believe. It's just a bit ugh. Also, in that very scene, we see Lady Gaga's character get quite feisty. She punches a guy in the face, which was kind of a cool moment, actually. I really liked that addition to the film. Just, it came out of nowhere. It didn't feel out of place. It was actually a real huge badass moment that I was really appreciative of. But the rest of the film, she's not like that at all. You would think that to open a character up in such a burst of emotions and chaos to punch a guy in the face, you would see her throughout the film be quite a feisty person, a person that doesn't take no shit, doesn't, what I mean, one of those kind of people. I don't feel like I got that much from her character in that way at all. She goes from that to then later on just randomly meeting a guy in the street and just, accepting a record deal. That is basically one of the scenes, just some random guy who ends up turning into this arsehole, which we find out later on that he is a massive arsehole, but at that point we don't know that. But even still, she just takes the deal and is like, yeah, whatever, I'll take this record deal, I'm going to sell out for no reason, which is also a huge issue of mine throughout this film as well. We just see her kind of progress in a very cliche pop star fashion, which a lot of people have praised for this film, in the sense that this film is actually about a person losing touch with their with their inner self, if you will. Like, oh, they lose touch with their roots. They just kind of forget everything, take all the money, take all the fame instead of staying grounded. And then you kind of see the consequences of that later on down the line when you've made those mistakes, which I can see as a good positive for the film. But that would have only been better if we had some kind of explanation as to why she did what she did. Unless I missed something, or unless I've misunderstood something, but to my knowledge, there's really no reason as to why she does it, other than it being a really cliche moment in a film, like, oh, it's just going to be another one of those sellout stories, and yeah, we're going to see her go on like SNL and stuff and do really trashy pop performances. She starts out with this really amazing country singer. She's just, going into this like pop world and losing touch with her roots. Yeah, like that's kind of alright, but I just feel like it just didn't feel necessary. And in between all of this, there's just really meh moments between Bradley Cooper's character and Lady Gaga for me. You see Bradley Cooper kind of deteriorate over time. He's a big drunk. He's an old-fashioned country singer who likes his whiskey. He's just a bit of a mess. Mental health is all over the place, that kind of stuff. He starts getting jealous of Lady Gaga's success and how, whatever she's doing is gaining all the attention when he's been at it for years, which makes sense to the character. It's kind of a shame that it ended up being that way, because he sort of made her become as big as she did, and then obviously it kind of takes a toll on him. So yeah, those kind of elements actually had some great potential. But for me, with it being a directorial debut from Bradley Cooper, the pacing of the film wasn't really quite there. The story, honestly, like I say, I have a lot of issues with the story mostly. The film itself, I didn't mind watching it. It's not like I hated it, but all my issues just ended up coming from the story. And maybe if it just had a bit more finesse with its directing, had a bit more uniqueness to it, it just felt really ordinary. Like I was just watching a very straightforward, ordinary film that in any other world probably wouldn't gain that much attention, but Oscars do love Bradley Cooper, don't they? I suppose they like it as well when multi-talented people cross over across multiple arts, which is what Lady Gaga's done. She went from musician to TV, now she's doing films. It's like they love that kind of thing. But even still, a lot of movie lovers that I speak to are really head over heels for this. And yeah, it's not a terrible film, it's not a bad film. I just feel like it's just really average. It just seems like a really average, dull plot of a film. I didn't really want to get into this as well because, I'm a big music guy, so it's probably going to look like I'm just nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking here. But it is a musical, and I think I should address the music. The music, again, it's whatever. Every time Bradley Cooper opens his mouth and sings, I'm just ready to not listen to whatever he's singing, because he's not a terrible singer, but come on, man. He's not exactly great. The best part of the song Shallow is quite clearly Lady Gaga. She sells that performance so well. Everything else, the guitar is pretty basic. As I said, lyrically it's fine, I guess, but it is what it is. It's just a song for a film. It doesn't need to be amazing, but it certainly isn't anything special. And the rest of the soundtrack, I couldn't even recall any songs from the soundtrack, to be honest. I also can't really recall that many scenes featuring Sam Elliott, but he seems to have gotten an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, which is kind of funny to me, but he was good. Again, all the performances were serviceable. They were fine performances. They did what they did well. I don't think Lady Gaga's performance was anything special. I don't want to sound like I'm being harsh on her, but she didn't really, act in a significant way. Neither did Bradley Cooper, actually. He played his character quite well. I definitely preferred him to Lady Gaga's role. But if I could just understand what he was saying throughout the film, his voice was just like, yeah, man, I guess I should probably stop here because I'm saying so much and I probably sound like a cynic and I don't want to scare people early on. But I did want to talk about this film because it is quite a hyped up, buzzed up film, so it was a good place to start. Yeah, whatever, man. It's just an average film. I'm sure this will probably end up doing like well in years to come. People will look back at it and think of it as being a good film, but for me, it's just one of those films. Last few things I will say though is that I will give Lady Gaga that final scene. She did actually do really well with that performance at the end. She does have a great voice. I can't take that away from her. I don't think many people, like, if you could be the harshest music critic in the world, I can be quite harsh in music, but I can't say that Lady Gaga has a bad voice because that would be ridiculous. She has a great singing voice. But the one last thing I'll mention, the friggin' when he sat in the car and the nooses are on the billboard, you tell me you didn't see that coming? Like, that was so friggin' blatant. Like, it was on screen for so long, I was just like, why are the nooses on the screen? Of course, by the end of the film, we know what happens. Yeah, that was like really poor for foreshadowing. Like, foreshadowing can be done extremely well and extremely tactical, but not not in that film. No, that was poor. So yeah, for me, it's a pretty average 5 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on this film, and let me know your thoughts on this review. I'm not, obviously a movie reviewer, but I do want to start getting into doing more videos like this. I enjoyed doing this, actually. It was quite fun talking about the film. And yeah, if you want me to talk about more films, do let me know in the comments. Any improvements, I'm all ears. That kind of stuff. I'll probably just talk about films whenever I get around to seeing them. There's not going to be any schedule on this because I can't really find the time to, go to cinema every week and see loads of new films. So I'll just kind of talk about films as and when, and hopefully people enjoy it. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you for listening. Subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, goodbye. Goodbye.